Hi and welcome back. This is Steve from SkiCoachingOnline, and in this video we're going to look at how to ski moguls if you've never skied them before, or bumps. So this is good for if at the end of the day it gets a little bit chopped up and a little bit mogully on the ski home, or if you see some bumps off the side of the piste and you fancy a little go in there, then this tip's for you. Let's check it out. So the first step is here. I find myself on the side of the piste and there's a little bit of a ridge line. So the way I think about moguls is that they're very small mountains. So as we ski down the mountain, you've probably been told before that you need to turn back up the mountain to slow yourself down. And if you go down the mountain, you're going to go a little bit faster. So it's the same way then if we see the bump as a mini mountain. If I go up the bump, that's essentially like me going up the hill. And as I go down the backside of it, that's like me going down the hill. So the tip is, as you go up the bump, you're going to be going up it on one foot. As you get to the top, that's when you can then switch and go onto the other foot as you then come back down. So for example, as I ski this ridge line here, I'm going up the hill on one foot, and I go down the hill on the other. So I'm going around here on my right foot and I switch to my left as I then come down. That way then it enables me to get a little bit of grip on the backside so I can continue to ski with a little bit of control. If you find you come over the top and we switch a little bit late, whoa, then you might be able to see there that the ski then goes without you. As it starts to go down the hill a little bit faster. So keep that in mind and use the ridge line just like this here, up on the left, down on the right, up on the right, down on the left. The important thing is to swap feet. So if you go up on one foot, make sure you go down the backside on the other foot. Let's check it out in the bumps. So here we are then off the side of the piste with some bumps. So I've tried it now on the ridge line and I've made a couple of turns, and I think I can link a few of those turns together whilst changing my feet as I go up and over that ridge. So essentially practicing going up the hill on one foot and down the hill on the other. So what I'm going to do is give that a little try in these bumps. So as I go down, I come up on one foot, down on the other. So I go up on one foot, down on the other. Up on one, down on the other. So it doesn't matter if you have a little bit of a slide in. If you're sliding up on one foot, you can slide down on another. It doesn't matter if you're kind of carving in and then trying to carve out. The same thing goes each time. I go up on one foot and down on the other. So here I come. The faster I go through them, I might need to bend my legs a little bit as I go up one and then extend as I go down the other. But it's just important to remember to keep yourself balanced on that outside foot as early as possible, that you go up one side on one foot and then come down the backside on the other foot. That way then you can have a bit more control as you come down the backside as those skis are starting to go a little bit faster. Hey, welcome back. This is Steve from SkiCoachingOnline. In this video we're going to look at how we can ski some bumps a little bit smoother and get a little bit more speed control when we're in the bumps. So essentially the fastest way down is in a straight line down the hill. So what we want to do is add a little bit of distance across the hill when we're skiing it. So how that translates to the bumps is, instead of sticking kind of in between the bumps and skiing in the troughs as we go down, that's essentially, if I had some water and I poured it down, that's where the water would flow. What I want to try to do is try and put my feet somewhere near to where the peaks of the bumps are. I don't need to ski over the top of the peak. For example, I don't need to stand here. I can stand here is fine, but then when I go to the next bump, I want to see if I can come around and then ski towards or in line with the peak of the next bump. So what that looks like when we're skiing is a little bit like this. So I'm skiing down, I find this peak,
find this peak, this peak, this peak, this peak, peak to peak, 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 to peak as we go. That way then, it's a little bit easier for me to get a bit more side to side. If I was to just ski down without going peak to peak, I can keep my skis kind of in between the bumps here. You would just end up hitting bump, bump, and then you can see there's not much for me to do here in terms of trying to slow down, apart from skidding and hitting the bump kind of with my skis going to the side, which is a little bit difficult. Whereas if I can come peak to peak, what I can do then is I give myself a little bit of space. For example, here, I'm on one peak. If I can then come across, I come all the way across, and I can ski then around to the next one. And it gives me a bit of space then to allow my skis to turn without getting caught up in the holes as I'm skiing. So for example, as I come around here, I go to one peak, I come around, whee, to the next peak, 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 as I go.
Hello and welcome back. This is Steve from SkiCoachingOnline, and in this video, just a quick one on how to improve your mogul skiing. A little drill that we're going to look at. So let's have a little look at the side slip drill, where we need to be when we're doing it, and then we'll take it into the bumps, make sure we're actually taking what we need to and applying it into our mogul skiing. Let's have a look. When we're doing that side slip, what I find is a lot of people focus on the flattening of the skis, which is cool, because then that can help us to slide down the hill like this. What I want to look at though is I want us to slide for a second, and then I want us to actually engage our edges. When we're doing this, I want us to feel where we are standing on our foot. Okay, if I just side slip down here, I'm kind of on the front of my feet, on the hole of my foot, all good. Sometimes you can do it and the foot can actually get stuck behind you like this. Where the issue is then, if I take that into the bumps and I hit a bump really hard, it's going to be hard for me to actually move this leg and to bend it. If I'm coming down here and I'm doing a bit of a side slip, okay, I can feel the front of my boot for sure, but I can also feel my heel. So that then when I stop here, I've got space and room, and I actually have access to move my legs. So the intention is, when I'm doing my side slip here, okay, I can slide sideways, but as I start to tip those skis up onto their edges to come to a stop, I'm not worried about moving forward or backwards. I'm just thinking about tipping the skis over. I'm just aware of where I'm feeling on my foot. So I actually feel it just ever so slightly in front of my heel. So when you're practicing this, side slip, nice flat skis, rolling the skis flat using your feet and your legs. As you roll them up onto their edge and they bite, just see where you're feeling, okay, along the length of your foot. Once you've practiced it both sides, so with your downhill ski being your left foot and your downhill ski being your right foot, what we want us to do is pop it together. So as we go down here, I'm going to have a slide, my left foot being here. As I start to tune up, pull my skis up onto the edge, I feel just in front of my heel. Great. Now let's go the other way. Okay, so I have a little bit of a side slip. Just roll those skis up. Okay, feel just in front of my heel on my right foot. Cool. Now what we're going to do is I'm not going to stop this time. I just tune into the feeling of side slip, roll it up, feel just in front of my heel. What this is doing is just tuning me into where I'm standing on that outside foot. As I now start to link them together, bump, it starts to get me going. I can link some turns together now, feeling the outside foot and where, more importantly, I'm feeling on that outside foot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that into the bumps, or to be truthful, just to the side of the bumps. So that way then I can have a practice of this sliding in more of a short style turn, get the tempo right, before I then take it into the bumps. On the right hand side of this slope, there's some bumps, and on the left it's kind of bumped up, but not really. It feels more like the piste. The ground is a little bit soft. We had a bit of snow last night and the wind has kind of moved it around, so there is, as you can see underneath my skis, there is a little bit of fresh going on, but this is still okay for me to transition from the piste to the off piste to the bumps. I'm just thinking again of that side slip or a little bit slippy, and then just as I come to the end of the turn, I'm just gonna roll those skis up, okay? I'm gonna feel what it's like and where I am along the length of my foot, so just in front of the heel. That's so that when I go into the bumps and I hit them and I bend my legs, that my foot doesn't get stuck, and it actually will keep the ski moving, so I can have a little bit of flow in my bump skiing as well. So as I go down here, I'm gonna have a little play. There we are. So have a bit of a spin, roll my skis up onto the side. There's actually some bumps here that I can practice it with. So that way then, when I'm doing it, bump, I feel just in front of my heel. Cool. And I'm having a very kind of quick slide. I'm not looking for heaps of grip. I'm just tuning into balancing on that outside foot. And when I do start to roll them over, that I'm rolling it over whilst being connected just in front of that heel. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna step kind of my right foot into the bump and then my left foot not in the bump, just so I get the feeling of the timing of it, of when I'm gonna hit that bump is when I start to kind of roll that foot over. And I'm gonna just be in contact with just in front of my heel. So it looks a little bit like this. I come around, right foot on, left foot no. Right foot on, left foot no. So what I'm doing here is I'm just tuning into that feeling of when I land on a bump. Let me get over to a bump so you can have a look. Cool, so as I'm here, okay, my right foot is touching this bump here. And what I want to make sure is that as I hit it, I'm hitting it and I feel connected just in front of my heel. Okay, what that'll do, that'll allow me space to bend my leg, so that if I go a bit faster, boom, and I bang into it quite hard, then I can bend that leg and my foot won't get stuck. I know we've all had that feeling before where you're skiing in the bumps, moving really fast, and then your feet feel like they get stuck or caught up on a bump. So if you have a play with this, go in and out of the bumps and you'll get a feeling for, okay, I hit the bump for sure, but my ski doesn't die and it doesn't stop, okay? I'll show you, I'll give you a demo of if I hit the bump, my foot's way behind me, like that, it's kind of not worth snapping my leg for a YouTube video, but there we are. So if I hit a bump here like this, my balance right now is just in front of my toe piece, and what that'll do is it means my foot will stop and I get caught back. This is one of those ones where if you ever get that feeling that you keep getting bucked over the front when you're skiing in the bumps, and that's kind of, that could be one of the things that's happening. So as we're sliding down here, I've got that feeling of, okay, I'm on my heel, I can bend my leg, and then that ski then doesn't get stuck and doesn't get caught back, okay? Let's go up and have a look at it. I'll go and ski those bumps and we'll see if we can see it in action when we're actually in the bumps there. Here I am in the bumps. So you can see here, the kind of feeling I'm gonna have is if I hit this bump here, I'm just in front of my heel. That way then my ski are free to keep going where they want to go. If I get caught back here, as you can see, my tail could get caught up and my foot will get stuck behind me, so I won't be able to absorb or do any of that good stuff. So let's give it a go here whilst holding this camera. Cool, so you can see there that when I hit, if I land hard, boom, if I land here, then I've got loads of space. If I wanted to, I could absorb that much. So that way then, I'm not gonna get caught up. My feet aren't gonna get stuck. And I'm not gonna get bucked over the front like that. What will happen is I can then start to use how quickly or slowly I absorb my legs or bend my legs to control my descent down the hill, okay? You can also use
how strongly you edge set or how you side slip down the bumps to control your speed as well. That one gets a little bit more difficult when you start to go a bit faster, because if you haven't quite got it right and you tip those skis over, they might move you somewhere where you don't want to go. So sometimes having a bit of a flatter ski, sliding into the bump and using absorption is a bit easier to do when you start to go a bit faster. Anyway, let me know how it goes, give this a try, and I'll catch you in the next one.